Excellennial here with another story-based Excel tutorial. And today I'm going to be talking about Gina the Seamstress. Gina previously learned how to use the AVERAGEIFS function, but now she has a few more conditions in a new situation. She needs to find the average price of all of her dresses that are mermaid style and cost more than $44. Let's try the AVERAGEIFS function for this. Alright, so here we have a spreadsheet of Gina's dress types, dress designs, and the price ranges. She needs to find any dress that is over $44 and is the mermaid cut dress type. So this should be pretty easy. We just need to use the AVERAGEIFS function. She did use the AVERAGEIF function before, but the big difference there is that with the AVERAGEIF function, you can only set one condition. There's only one if that you can actually define in that function. Whereas with this one, you can continue on and add multiple conditions. So the average price of something if it matches this and this, versus the AVERAGEIF function, it would only be the average of something if it matches this one parameter. So here we have two specific parameters that it needs to be over $44 and the mermaid cut. Now you can see here, this is her actual list, but this is what we're going to write out. This is the exact breakdown of it. But I'm going to walk through it step by step so you can see how I programmed each of those. But this is the reference point so you can see exactly what I'm writing out before I have it completely finished. So first I'm going to type the equal symbol because that's how all functions and formulas start. And then type in AVERAGEIFS. Again, be sure you add the S. That's what we're making sure that we have on this function. Now what we need is the average range, the criteria range, the criteria, and then it repeats from there: criteria range 2, criteria 2, criteria range 3, criteria 3, and so on. So the average range is going to be, what do we need the average of? Now we need the average price. So we're going to select cell C2 through cell C25. There's less data on this sheet that I remember. We're going to select cell C2 through cell C21. We type in comma because we've finished selecting the average range. We already have all of the pricing selected. That's all that we need for the average range. So I'm going to type in comma. Now the criteria range is going to be where we are looking for a certain set of criteria. The first criteria is going to be the pricing. So we still will again select the pricing range. So this will be cell C2 through cell C21. But our criteria range is analyzing specifics of that data. It's not the same thing as the average range. So the average range is focused on what's the average of that column. The criteria defines what needs to be actually looked at, the average of what specifically. So the average range and the criteria range may have selected the same areas, but they're looking for different things. So the criteria range is defining what the average range needs to look at. So let's define what the criteria one is. When we select the average range or the price range, we are specifically focusing on items that cost more than $44. Since that's actually a text item, we're going to be typing it out. It's not just selecting a cell. We are going to put quotation marks in, and then the greater than symbol, 44, and another quotation mark. That is what we are looking for within that price range, within the criteria range number 1. Now I'll type comma and we're done with that. And it's moving on now to criteria range 2. What is the second requirement that we need to find the average range? That's going to be selecting cell A2 through A21 because we need to look for the mermaid cut dress type. So we already have our criteria range number 2 selected. We're going to type comma because that's done. Now criteria 2, again, since this is text and we're not just selecting a column or a cell, we're going to type quote and then mermaid cut and then another quote. So that's the exact wording of what we're looking for. That's the exact dress type that we want to find. Now I'm going to type in that last parenthesis and close it out. We're not looking for any additional data. There's no more criteria that we need to type in. This tells Excel, looking at cell C2 through C1, that is the data that we're trying to find an average number of. But we don't want to look at all of the data. We only want to look at certain specific criteria. So out of that data in the price range cell C2 through C1, we need to find cell C2 through C1 items that are over $44. So anything that's under $44, the average range will not look at anymore. Excel will completely disregard anything that's under $44. Then the second parameter that must be met in that average range, C2 through C21, is going to be, is the dress type in A2 through A21 mermaid cut? If it is not, then again, the average range will completely ignore any rows that are princess cut or empire waist or tunic or anything like that. Anything like that will be completely ignored. So I'm going to type in enter, and it's going to give us the results. This is the average price of dresses that are over $44 and are also mermaid cut. So you can see here, this is one item that would be included in that average. These would be all included in that average. This one is under $40, so it would have been completely ignored. So what we can do here is actually test the data by using just an average function and selecting these specific numbers. This takes way longer. It gets you the same results, but it takes way longer. And now I've only selected the cells that are over $44 and that are matched with mermaid cut. Now it's going to give you the exact same result. The only difference is that it's formatted a little differently, so instead of 57 cents, it just says 56.6. So it's just that it's rounded differently, but you can also change it to currency and then it will be the same. Now, that makes everything super simple. That's two ways to find the same information, using the average function in a more complicated way or using the AVERAGEIFS function specifying what needs to be looked at. Now Gina knows, just with a quick function, the average price of all of her dresses that are mermaid cut style and cost more than $44. If you have any questions about this process, please leave a comment in the section below. And until next time, have fun excelling.